So Prince Harry has apparently had enough of people making fun of his wife. The feminists have had enough of the over-sexualization of women, and we've all had enough of incestuous Hollywood, and yet, here we are. Now guys, before we get into all of today's stories, I saw something on X this morning that made me laugh hysterically, and so I just quickly inserted it in the show because I just have to talk to you about it. So as you guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, there is somebody on the internet that I just adore, and his name is Joey Swole. And Joey Swole is a fitness influencer who basically goes after the bad actors at gyms, the people who make gyms uncomfortable for people like me, who did not grow up hitting the gym. I'm not, in tune with gym culture. Every time I go to the gym, I'm like, oh my God, are people staring at me? This is so weird. I don't know what I'm doing. He protects people like me. And the way that he does this is by responding to videos online that these bad actors post. So it might be a girl that is like half naked at the gym and she's like, oh my God, this creep is staring at me. And he makes a video and he's like, I'm sorry, no, he's not. You literally have your boobs out and your ass out. Like, cover up, please. He defends people that have just started working out and are finding their way in the gym. But most importantly, he goes after people who make fun of people who are just trying to get in a good workout. And that is what happened this weekend over on his TikTok and on his X account, and the response that he got from the woman that he was critiquing was just so perfect. And it perfectly describes everything that is wrong with our culture and what this leftist ideology, this believing that you are a perpetual victim, has done to people's minds. But before we dive into that, make sure that you like this video and subscribe to our channel if you have not already. And of course, ring that notification bell so that you stay up to date on every single one of our episodes. And if you have not bought tickets for my Texas shows yet and you want to come out and see the live show, do a Q&A, possibly meet me at the end, make sure to go to brettcooper.com. You can find all of the tickets there, all the information. I have one more week of this leg of my tour, and I hope that I see a ton of you guys there. Now, back to Joey Swole. This is the original video that he posted a couple of days ago. Just watch. So she flips around her camera. They're all sitting here laughing at this guy.
Pull that shit. Doing unnecessary shit at the gym right now. Like, y'all, I don't even understand if he's trying to surf. There's so many other ways he could have targeted your back.
So what this man is doing is called
Joey.
the chest-supported seal row. This is actually a great exercise. It's good for isolating the upper back, the lats, and by laying flat with your feet off the ground, you remove any cheating or momentum that you would get from your legs or your hips. It's also really good for people that have lower back problems and can't do the conventional bent over row. But what's worst of all is that you're a certified personal trainer and you don't know this, or know better than to film someone, to post on social media to make fun of him, and you recruit other people to join in and laugh at him too? Seriously? Shame on you. You need to do better. Mind your own business.
And that is how Joey ends every single one of his videos. You need to do better, mind your own business. Which is completely accurate. I mean, this woman is standing around with all of her friends, giggling, laughing, while this man has his headphones on and he's just trying to get in a good workout. And they continuously pan the camera back over, haha, oh my God, we're laughing. She's like outwardly making fun of this person. And the point that Joey made about her being a personal trainer is so accurate because she is the type of person who should be welcoming people into the gym, who should be making this a good space so that everybody can come in and get their workout on, who should know better and know that this is a normal workout that people do and that he is just trying to target that part of his body. Like, I can't believe that I'm getting into back workouts right now. But guys, what got even crazier, where this becomes socio-political, where I got super interested, was how the woman responded. Because, of course, in 2025, you can't just take criticism. You can't just take accountability. No, because as a black woman, she cannot do any of that. Instead, what she argued was that Joey Swole was attacking her, actually, because she is a woman of color. And so this is what she posted on her story. This is from that same account, Zara Fitness. She said, Joey Swole targets black, queer, and vulnerable communities to expand his business. You should be ashamed. Okay, Zara, you should be ashamed. You're the one who is online making fun of people who go to your gym, and you being called out for that should be embarrassing. Now she goes on and she says, comments are going off again. Trolls are bored and they don't get my energy. Now I actually think that these trolls are probably in the right for once, because they are calling you out for doing something that was objectively wrong, objectively hurtful, and that you should objectively be called out for. But guys, it did not stop there, because even though the whole Joey Swole community and the people with common sense who just want the gym to be a nice, happy place were calling her out, there were other people that were on her side, of course, on the basis of her being a minority and needing to be protected. And so another person posted this on her story and she said, another black woman targeted and gym incident misrepresented for clicks and views? Are we seeing a pattern here? So sorry this is happening to you, sis. You are not alone, Zara Fitness. I'm so sorry that you're being called out for your bad actions. I'm so sorry that you are being held accountable on a public stage for hurting somebody in your gym space. Like, that's really all that's happening. This is not about the fact that you are a Black woman. This is not about the fact that you are a queer person. Like, that does not matter. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care who you sleep with. You also can be a bad person. And your intersectional minority status does not shield you from criticism, no matter how hard you try. It's not gonna work. We are over it. Just like we are all over Meghan Markle. And it seems like Brooke Shields, the actress, is also over Meghan Markle based on something that happened just a couple of weeks ago. So guys, a year ago, to scale this all back, Brooke Shields and Meghan Markle did a panel together at South by Southwest. And I just want you to listen to this clip.
I was 11 years old, about 11 years old, and I had seen a commercial on TV for a dishwashing liquid, and the boys in my class at the time said, it said, women all over America are fighting greasy pots and pans. And the boys said, yeah, that's where women belong, in the kitchen. And at 11, I just found that infuriating and wrote lots of letters and put pen to paper, and they ended up changing the commercial. It just, I guess, goes to show that if you know that there's something wrong and you're using your voice to advocate in the direction of what is right, that can really land and resonate and make huge change for a lot of people. So your voice is not small. It just needs to be heard.
Yeah, this is where we're
So that's Brooke Shields right there.
This is one of the ways where we're different. When I was 11, I was playing a prostitute. So
okay, Brooke.
I wish I'd known you.
Where we're going here.
When I was
A little
11.
different.
So guys, that's basically all that happened. Meghan Markle was on stage. She's giving this grandiose explanation for how she had her feminist awakening at 11 years old. She was writing letters. And granted, I can't really make fun of her for writing letters at 11 years old because I was incredibly precocious. That's the way I got my first manager. I literally wrote him a letter and I was like, I will be on Broadway one day. I want you to hire me. So I get it, Meghan. I was also writing letters. But 20 years later, you're still playing this game about being this amazing philanthropist and feminist who's saving women from doing dishes and all of these things. It's just ridiculous. And Brooke interrupted and she was just trying to lighten the mood, and she made a very accurate joke about the fact that, hey, our experiences at 11 years old were very different. I was posing nude on the cover of magazines. You were writing letters about dish soap. That's funny. We should laugh at that. That's basically all that happened. And again, that was a year ago. Nobody really talked about this moment. We all moved on until a couple of weeks ago when Brooke sat down to do an interview and she brought up this moment, and you will never believe what happened next. So in this interview that Brooke Shields was doing, it so happened to be on a podcast with King Charles's goddaughter, India Hicks. So now we have some intersection here with the royal family and with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. And this is what Brooke Shields said about that entire interaction.
And she kept saying she was 11. She writes to the company, they changed the text, they changed the commercial. And I go, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I guys, just interrupt you there for 1 minute. And I was trying not to be rude, but I wanted to be funny because it was so serious. And I go, I just want to give everybody here a context as to how we're different. I said, well, when I was 11, I was playing a prostitute.
So guys, we have now seen this 2 times. We have seen the actual clip. We have seen what Brooke Shields was saying about it. This was just funny. She was just trying to lighten the mood. It was a funny comparison. She was 11 years old. She was in the movie Pretty Baby playing a prostitute. She acknowledges that Meghan was being so serious and again, so grandiose about, I was 11. Objectively, that is very funny and the comparison is very funny. But apparently, a certain couple in Montecito did not see the video the same way. And after being out for only 1 week, that podcast interview was quietly deleted. And the headline from Cosmopolitan reads, Brooke Shields' podcast on Meghan Markle was deleted by King Charles's goddaughter. And thanks to Ground News, I know that their reporting has mixed factuality. Ground News is a platform that cuts through the noise with an unbiased perspective, showing both sides of every news story and prioritizing honesty above all else, which is a unique feature in 2025. Their unique technology even allows users to compare how different sides of the corporate media report on a story, ensuring that you see all sides and truly stay informed. And in addition to that, Ground News' blind spot feed brings you the stories that have gotten little to no coverage, making sure that you always stay informed, instead of letting big tech or their algorithms decide what you see, which happens more than you would expect. So if you are truly ready to break free from media bias and stay informed with transparent news consumption, now is the time to join Ground News. And when you go to groundnews.com/Brett or you scan the QR code on your screen, you can get the same premium plan that I use and do all of my research with, but for nearly half the price. Again, that's groundnews.com/Brett if you want to get unbiased news and hold the media accountable for only $5 a month. So guys, back to this interview, we obviously have to ask, why was this deleted? It's very suspicious. This was a harmless interview. She was making a joke, something that objectively was so mild, so fine. If she had said that about me because I was talking about how I was writing letters to managers at 11 years old, I would laugh because again, that comparison, that dichotomy between the two women is so funny. So why was this just suddenly taken down? Well, it seems like TMZ possibly, allegedly, has an answer for us. They are reporting, allegedly, that Prince Harry threatened the podcast with a lawsuit. This is what they reported. Breaking, TMZ is now reporting that Prince Harry and his team of lawyers threatened Brooke Shields with a defamation of character lawsuit if she didn't remove the podcast. And the grounds were laughing at and ridiculing his wife about her When I Was 11 story. And again, guys, this is all alleged. I have no idea if this is factual, but we just have to laugh at this because it is just the most perfect Harry and Meghan story. Like the lengths they will go to try to fix their reputation when really all they should be doing is just shutting their mouths. That's what I literally say every single week. Like, if you would just go back to Montecito and be in your fake garden and be with your kids because I'm sure they're missing their mother, like everything would blow over. But instead, you're going to these lengths to remove podcast interviews, like talk about the Streisand effect. Like nobody was talking about Brooke Shields or this interview or the panel that happened at South by Southwest over a year ago until it was suspiciously wiped from the internet. Like, the original panel had no views. It had less views than an episode of Michelle Obama's podcast. That is how small it was. And now it has been trending for days because it was mysteriously taken down because Meghan got her feelings hurt. So this is a great lesson for everyone, that no matter how hard you try to fix a situation or cover something up, it probably will just come back to bite you in the butt. So you might as well just live and let live, move forward, and Meghan Markle, please just shut your mouth for the love of everything good and for your own sanity. Because seriously, this will not stop happening. Now, while we are on the topic of influential feminist figures like Meghan Markle, I want to talk about something interesting that I've seen happen in the feminist ecosystem on social media this week because it is truly hysterical. Because the feminists, the women that we all know and love, that we have been up against for decades at this point, they are now coming out as holier than thou when it comes to the over-sexualization of women. Yes, you heard that correctly. Now, my friends, there's just too much sex and women are being too sexual. Imagine that. I mean, after years of female liberation and free the nipple and sex as empowerment and wanting to sleep with everyone and just sleep around like a man, guys, it has officially gone way too far and they have realized the consequences of their actions, sort of. Now, before we get into the real crux of this debate, I want to give you the most extreme example of this that I have seen online this week, and this has to do with our good friend Bonnie Blue, who we just talked about a couple of days ago. Because Sophie Rain, who is another OnlyFans influencer porn star, one of the highest earners on OnlyFans, she is now speaking out against Bonnie Blue for making a joke of their industry, for making a joke of the sex work industry. This headline reads, Sophie Rain brutally slams Bonnie Blue for turning OnlyFans into a clown show. And you just have to hear what she said because, guys, the lack of self-awareness is truly beautiful. So this article reads, it is no longer women empowerment. It is shock value, and she is making a joke out of all of us. We built this space on OnlyFans doing porn to take control of our bodies and our finances, not to fake pregnancies, weddings, or throw cake at strangers in the street. Now, first of all, we just have to acknowledge it is so funny that these are the things that sent Sophie Rain over the edge. Like, I have not even heard a story about Bonnie Blue throwing cake at strangers in the street. I certainly have heard about her trying to tie herself up in a glass box so that she can have sex with 2,000 men in one day on Father's Day. So I don't know why that didn't send you over the edge, but the point still stands. Yes, Bonnie Blue has taken it too far. And it's just so perfect because these sex workers, these girls on OnlyFans, they wanted to live in this fantasy land of everything they were doing being female empowerment, being about owning their own bodies and owning their own finances, whatever it is. But when somebody actually steps over the line and says the quiet part out loud and is actually like, no, I really am just letting men exploit me, now the charade is up. And so now they're turning on a dime and having to speak out against this real exploitation. And in a tweet responding to an article about these comments that she made about Bonnie Blue, she tweeted and she said, I hope one day she realizes the trauma that she is causing herself and so many women. I mean, guys, like, this is so insane to me. Now, is she wrong about Bonnie Blue? No. But should she look in the mirror? Yes, absolutely. Think about the trauma that you have caused, the degradation to society that you have caused. Like, Bonnie Blue is an extreme example of something that women like you on OnlyFans have helped create. Like, it is not Bonnie Blue who made a joke of your industry. The industry itself is a dangerous and sick joke to begin with. She just took the exploitation further than any of you were willing to go. And so maybe we should just let this be a learning opportunity. And it certainly seems that this entire week has been a learning opportunity for the feminists online. Because in a less insane example, the biggest thing that I have seen the feminists debating online this week is Sabrina Carpenter and her newest album cover art. So if you've not seen it, Sabrina Carpenter, she released a new single. It's called Man-Child, and this is the art that will be on the cover of this album. And obviously, this is a bit sexual. She is kneeling in front of a man. He is holding her hair, but she is fully clothed, so I'll take that. You know, that is a win in 2025. But the feminists online, they are accusing Sabrina Carpenter of being too sexual and setting women and feminists back. This photo is what has really ruined feminism for all women. But it isn't just Sabrina Carpenter that they are saying this about. The other person that is setting women back is Sydney Sweeney and her bathwater. So if you've not followed that entire debacle that's been going on, Sydney Sweeney, the actress, she did a campaign with Dr. Squatch where she was in a tub full of bubbles. She was talking about their soap, all of this stuff. And all the comments under that ad, I think it aired at the Super Bowl, were basically making jokes about her bathwater. And men being like, oh my God, I want to buy that bathwater. That bathwater is like worth $1 million, whatever it is. And so, light bulb moment for Dr. Squatch and Sydney Sweeney, they decided to make a bathwater bar of soap that they would sell as this kind of collaboration. And apparently, they used literal drops from the bathwater from when she was filming that commercial, and they put that in all of these bars of soap. So it obviously is very sexual. She's leaning into the fact that people see her as like this modern sex icon. It obviously created a huge stir on social media, but primarily from women who had a major problem with it, who could not believe that Sydney Sweeney would do something that was so terrible and so appalling and similar to Sabrina Carpenter that would set women back so far. And I just want you guys to see the kind of things that are being posted about these women. So this one is about Sabrina Carpenter. They said, I don't care if I get dragged, but I am so tired of this over-sexualization of women. This is not feminism, and this is not empowering. Look at her comparing herself to a dog kneeling in front of a man. This is derogatory AF. And guys, there are literally thousands of comments and tweets just like this saying, I cannot believe that these women would do this. I cannot believe that Sydney Sweeney would sell her. I cannot believe that Sabrina Carpenter would kneel in front of a man in this album art. And I was just hysterically laughing. I was sitting in Miami before my show just laughing because I'm like, okay, now you care about the over-sexualization of women years later after everything you have done over the last 15 to 20 years? Like, this is too much? Like, this? Sabrina Carpenter, fully clothed, kneeling. I mean, granted, it's sexual, but like this is your line in the sand. It makes no sense. I mean, at this rate, with all of this outrage, like they are basically like one sexualized pop star away from saying that women belong back in the kitchen cooking a Good Rancher steak. And that is a statement that would keep 11-year-old Meghan Markle up at night. Now, for anyone out there who was worried about tariffs affecting them at the grocery store, do not worry anymore because Good Ranchers is completely tariff-proof. And that is because their meat is actually 100% American. It is born, raised, processed, packaged, and shipped right here in the United States. You won't have to worry about your meat prices going up, and Good Ranchers is also giving you your pick of free meat for life when you subscribe today. That is free ground beef, wild-caught salmon, seed oil-free chicken nuggets, those are amazing, or bacon in every box for the life of your subscription. But the service and the value that they deliver is truly unmatched. This is an amazing company run by great people who I know and love, and I am so proud to work with them. Now is the time to change the way that you buy meat and economy-proof your meals with Good Ranchers, because in a world and an economy that is constantly changing, you should know that at least one thing is staying stable. So visit goodranchers.com/Brett today, unlock your free meat for life, and $40 off with my code Brett at checkout today. Don't leave your food up to chance. Lock in a secure supply of American meat at a steady price today at goodranchers.com. Again, use code Brett for $40 off and free meat for life. And ladies, after you finish being in the kitchen and cooking that steak, you can feel even more feminine with Nimi Skincare. Now guys, I am so excited to be promoting Nimi Skincare again. I worked with them years ago as one of my first ever sponsors, and it has been amazing to watch their mission grow over the last 3 years. Now, since I worked with them, they launched a brand new clean line of high-powered products made with ingredients that you can trust and feel great about putting on your body's largest organ. Obviously, that is your skin. And just this month, they have introduced the beginnings of their body care collection. Now, I started using Nimi again after getting pregnant because my hormones have obviously been going crazy. I was struggling to keep my skin under control. I was breaking out like crazy, and I decided that I should start washing my face with something other than just micellar water, and they totally changed the game. They alone got my skin back on track literally within days. And what's wonderful is that Nimi is more than just skincare. Their company represents amazing values, and their products are proudly made in the USA. And because of that, they are also not forced to increase their prices when tariffs and costs rise. So you can always trust that you are getting great value and a great product. So if you are ready to make the switch, take Nimi Skincare's simple skin quiz on their website and get a skincare routine curated just for you and your skin type and concerns. Head on over to NimiSkincare.com, that is Nimi skincare.com, and use code Cooper for 15% off your order. Your skin and your wallet and your femininity will thank you. But back to the point, all of this is just seriously so ironic and hysterical and hypocritical because this really is not the fault of any of these women. It's not the fault of Sabrina Carpenter or Sydney Sweeney. Like, they are not setting women back. Like, the things that they are doing, the bathwater, the album cover, they are the result of a culture of feminists that pushed for promiscuous sex, that pushed for sex as empowerment and female lib and free the nipple and whatever they were doing. And Sabrina, as an artist, as a brand, knows this, and she plays into it to sell her music. In fact, in a recent Variety interview that she just did a couple of days ago, they said this in the headline. Sabrina Carpenter defends releasing new albums so quickly, says it's funny that people complain about sex at her shows, quote, those are are the songs you've made popular. Clearly, you love sex. And she's not wrong. Like, her most popular songs are the ones that are explicitly about sex and about sexual relations between men and women, and her loving that and enjoying it. Like, those are all of her top songs. And so obviously she's going to lean into that and just make more. And she's not wrong, because our culture has made a billion-dollar industry out of the sexualization of women as empowerment. Everybody has been doing that for years. So why is it now a problem just for her? Like, she's simply playing into it, and I would argue that she does it in a more tasteful, kind of camp, kitschy way than most. Like, she knows the game that she is playing, and she kind of toes a line. But I just kept thinking, like, why her? Like, this is so mild compared to the things that we see. Like, why Sydney Sweeney? Why these women and their relatively mild sexual hijinks? Why have they caused this firestorm online that is causing feminists to basically rethink the entire over-sexualization that they have been pushing for decades? Like, is this really worse than WAP or Lizzo twerking naked on stage or Sexy Red or any of Nicki Minaj's songs? Because genuinely, what Sabrina Carpenter and Sydney Sweeney are doing seems so tame to me in the scope of what we have seen come out of the music industry and out of Hollywood. Like, what they're doing is almost tongue-in-cheek. It does not compare to JoJo Siwa humping the beach in her music video, or Charlie XCX grinding mic stands at Coachella while being high on cocaine or whatever drug she's on, or even Alex Cooper in her wildly successful podcast literally teaching women explicitly how to please men and have sex like men, or even Miley Cyrus in her Bangers era from like 2016 or whenever that happened. Again, it is mild compared to those things. And yet all of those women have been uplifted because it was empowering, because they were actually furthering feminism. So what makes Sabrina and Sydney Sweeney so different? Is it because they're blonde and straight and conventionally beautiful? Because they're not gay? Like, I genuinely do not know. And I was racking my brain trying to understand why they would cause so much outrage. But after scrolling on X for far too many hours and contemplating this and having a very helpful conversation with Alex at the airport, it finally clicked. Sabrina Carpenter and Sydney Sweeney, they know that they are attractive. They know that they have sex appeal, and they joyfully lean into it for the enjoyment of other people. And these other women, the Charlie XCXs, the JoJo Siwas, they use their sexuality as a way to express their alleged oppression as women, to shock people, and most importantly, to dominate men. They don't do this for men. They do it at the expense of men. And they're angry that Sabrina and Sydney do not do that. So most of the people online who are outraged about this, who are posting all of their dramatic quote tweets about women being set back, they're not actually upset with how sexual Sabrina Carpenter and Sydney Sweeney are being. They are upset that they are doing it for the benefit of men, that they are doing this for the male gaze. By acknowledging their attractiveness to men and happily leaning into it with Sabrina on her knees and Sydney in her bathwater, they are betraying the feminist movement, which is just the most perfect explanation for what that movement has become, because it's not really about empowerment. It's not really about equality. It became about dominating men, and that is all they care about. Because if the roles were reversed and Sabrina Carpenter had a man kneeling in front of her on her album cover, they would be rallying around her. They would be thinking that that was the most empowering sexual thing that a woman could ever do. Exhibit A right here with Madonna. This person says, Madonna is the complete opposite of what Sabrina is doing, actually. She has never portrayed herself as a submissive doll to men. That is what they're upset about. They're not upset about the sex. They're upset about who it is for. But honestly, like, who is surprised anymore? Because feminism for the last 20 years has been grounded in becoming more sexually masculine while simultaneously hating men and trying to objectify yourself before men get the chance to, and then shaming men when they acknowledge your sex appeal. Like, that is the most twisted thing that women have done in the last 20 years, I think, is to put our bodies on display, to go on OnlyFans, to have sex like men, as Alex Cooper says, and then to point the finger at men and say, actually, you're the toxic ones. Don't look at me. Don't even think about me. I'm gonna go sleep with women because I hate men. Like, you're confusing them. No wonder there is this huge divide between men and women. This is a twisted, disgusting mind game, and feminism has not been about female empowerment since women got the right to vote. Seriously. It became something else, and shockingly, men don't like it. Shockingly, men don't like this game, but what they do like is happy little teeny bopper blondes with big boobs happily playing into their attractiveness and not being grotesque on stage. It really is that simple. And that attention that they are receiving from men, that royally pisses off the feminists whose entire MO is to make men angry and dominate them. Now, obviously, I am not here to just blindly defend Sydney Sweeney or Sabrina Carpenter or the way that they choose to market themselves. That is not how I would choose to market myself. But in our world that has become so ugly, like physically ugly and anger and vulgar when it comes to sex and the relationships between men and women, Sabrina Carpenter and Sydney Sweeney are kind of the last things that I'm worried about. Like, genuinely, guys, I did not even blink or do a double take when I saw those photos and their ads come across my timeline, because again, it is so mild compared to what the feminists are doing, and yet they are the problem. Maybe what you could focus on first is addressing the singers and the performers that glorify the abuse of women. Maybe take a look in the freaking mirror and see that your defense of over-sexualization as activism and empowerment is what caused this entire thing to begin with. That maybe the root cause of this isn't actually healthy to begin with. Not in the way that Sydney Sweeney or Sabrina Carpenter are doing it, and certainly not in the way that the Cardi B's and the JoJo Siwas and the Charlie XCXs and whatever are doing it. Sort of like how Blake Lively needs to recognize that yes, she can play the victim all she wants, but she started this game from the beginning of It Ends With Us. And yes, my friends, we do have another update from this trial. We actually have two updates from the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case. Blake Lively, this is hysterical, my friends. She filed a protective order for texts with Taylor Swift. Just listen to this. Blake Lively asked a judge on Friday to close the door on discovery related to Taylor Swift and her ongoing legal battle with her It Ends With Us co-star and director Justin Baldoni. She asked the judge to block Baldoni's lawyers from obtaining communications between Lively and Smith, saying that they are irrelevant to the case. They are now seeking to exclude Swift from the dispute once and for all, arguing, this is the best part, arguing that Baldoni's team has simply used Swift's name to generate tabloid fodder without legitimate legal purpose. But guys, this is so ironic because wasn't it Blake who was being accused of blackmailing Taylor Swift into making a public statement of support about her by threatening to release texts, but now she wants to cover them up? Like, now that Taylor Swift stepped in and said, actually, I want nothing to do this, I will actually hand information over to Baldoni's team because I don't want to be involved. Now, Blake's trying to protect this friendship and protect these very, very private texts. I mean, now I just want to know what's in them. Like, if you were willing to file a protective order, if you were willing to use them for blackmail, there must be something good in there. I mean, genuinely, it seems like Blake is the one who is more interested in using her friend for her case. It seems like she is the one who wants to bring Taylor's name into this repeatedly, time and time again, not Justin Baldoni's team. But unfortunately for her, or fortunately, depending on which way you look at it, the connection to Taylor does not end with just those texts, because Scooter Braun's Hive America, his company, has officially been subpoenaed into this lawsuit. Now, it's just been a hard few weeks to be Scooter Braun. I mean, Taylor Swift bought her masters back and basically said, you had no involvement, we did this in spite of you, not because of you. All of the Justin Bieber stuff is going on. His company in Korea just got raided by the feds. All of this is happening, and now his company in America has been subpoenaed into the hottest lawsuit of the year. And you might be asking, rightfully so, like, how does Scooter Braun and his company even fit into this lawsuit? Like, what is going on in Hollywood and the music industry? Well, let me lay it out for you. So, Hybe, Scooter's company, purchased a 51% stake in a company called the Agency Group in the first half of 2024. And the Agency Group, in case that rings a bell, is a PR firm. Specifically, it is a firm that specializes in crisis PR, and it is the firm that Justin Baldoni hired in August of 2024, right as It Ends With Us was coming out, and all of this first drama was starting to unfold on social media. And this is the company that Scooter Braun has a majority stakeholder position in. Now, what makes this story even more incestuous, I feel like that is the word that I use most frequently with Hollywood, with the music industry, because as we just discussed, Scooter owns a majority stake in the Agency Group, but before hiring the Agency Group, Baldoni also worked with a company called Jones Works, which is the PR firm that is run by Stephanie Jones, who has represented Scooter Braun as his publicist since 2012. After Justin Baldoni left Jones Works, former employees from that company gave text messages with Baldoni to the Lively team to help with her case. Now, what is even more interesting about this connection is the text messages between Baldoni and Jones Works employees, the ones that were handed over to Lively, reference the alleged smear campaign against none other than Hailey Bieber for their campaign, alleged campaign against Blake Lively. And guys, people look at this and have all these facts and still think that everything happening with the Biebers is just totally coincidental, that everything is just organic, that all of these outlandish accusations about Hailey Bieber are just coming out of nowhere, when this was an alleged smear campaign that was referenced by the company that represents Scooter Braun. And even further, their text messages also say that they were glad that Scooter was not named when it was first reported that Justin hired the Agency Group as his crisis PR firm. So again, to reiterate, employees at the firm that personally represents Scooter Braun as the individual were glad that he was not mentioned in news surrounding Justin Baldoni hiring the crisis firm that Scooter owned. But why? Like, what are the connections here that we are not seeing? Now, obviously, I do not have the answers for you, but hopefully this subpoena will give us and the lawyers the answer that we all desperately need. Because in a world that has gone so crazy, that is so embroiled in chaos around the globe, these are the little things that just keep us going. These are the things people on the internet still seem to care so much about. And really, I just feel bad for people who can't laugh at the absurdity of our culture and the people who drive it, whether that be entitled celebrities like Meghan Markle and Blake Lively, feminists, or even queer personal trainers.